Oh, we are on. Oh, apologies for that. I've been looking at a spinny wheel of pointlessness for a little while now. Everything's definitely slowed down a bit recently. But looks like it's working for the moment. So, fingers crossed. Just get my phone so I can see who's here. It might be wrong, it might be Jason. It might be somebody I don't know. Do let me know who's here. Oh, sounds the wrong time. It's not working. Well, welcome. Today I just have some flowers in a jar, but I'm going to add something to that composition. But it's really all about that shadow, I think. I might just leave it at that. I might just make the lid more of a thing. I'm using the light outside the window. For a while, the box that the power goes to for the street light that's attached to the wall outside my flat was just hanging off the wall. I did tell them, but no one did anything about it until very recently, where they tied it up with cable ties and tied it to the drain pipe rather than screwing it back into the wall. So that's encouraging. I was considering how you might, I don't know, connect a storage heater to it, perhaps. I didn't really think it through. It wasn't serious. But it's a good job I didn't do that now, because it turns up they did turn up to fix it. Oh, good to see you too, Matt. 5 us along while everyone's here, albeit briefly. If you haven't been here before, welcome to my studio. And every Monday I do a painting, and I just put the cameras on and off we go. So there's lots of dithering, lots of mucking about, lots of not being properly prepared, because this isn't some kind of TV show. So, you know, you just have to be patient, which is really what painting's all about, I think. Slowing down, being patient, and taking your time, relaxing a bit. So you might want something else to do while this is on, because it's probably not interesting enough on its own, but we'll see. Oh, we're down to 4, so I've managed to put someone off already. So a lot of people say they watch this, and I swear they just put it on for 20 seconds, which is fine. I'm flattered that anybody would put me on for 20 seconds, to be honest. But yeah, there you go. I'm just going to sort my palette out. Some bits of old paint. Where's my box? There it is. give this a bit of a scrape, get it ready for today. Try not to cover myself in paint before I've even started. That would be a result. Some people like to clean their palette off completely in between paintings, but I quite like having different contexts from the colours left over from last time. Certainly in terms of light and dark, sometimes in terms of colour. What I don't want is too many lumps in it, and half-dried paint it's going to give you lumps. So let's try and pick as much of that up as we can. Scrape it off. Now I'm going to have to put some new paint out. I'm going to need some more yellow ochre. So we'll pick this skin of paint off. It's got the strange satisfaction of it's like picking a scab, which most people don't get to do until very much after the age of 12 or so, when you stop falling out of trees. Okay. Now it's a funny thing. I'm talking the other day about how you can kind of almost recognise what the painting's of just by the palette. And there was this little meme I saw where various sort of TV shows, especially animations, which have got very clear, simplified colour schemes, were just represented by columns, and one of them was The Simpsons, and you just recognised it immediately. It was really funny, but it was just stripes. It was just stripes with an order of colours. But the combination of the sort of the blue bit and the yellow bit made you recognise Marge Simpson. It was quite interesting. So lots of little insights coming along. I've been working hard researching and getting properly organised so that I can start making actual videos for instruction with everything that's going on. I'm having to, oh, this is all still wet, that's fine, come up with something, as I may have explained in previous weeks. Apologies if I'm repeating myself, but if you're self-employed and you rent, then you haven't got a lot of help coming your way at the moment. So self-employed people are getting busy coming up with things, because we don't really have a choice. So here's praying it works, otherwise, well, this isn't going to go on much longer. Oh, you'll laugh. Yes, so I've been writing up scripts for a drawing course. I'm also going to do an oils and a portraiture course. I'm already teaching these things with ArtsLink. I've moved my lessons online, and they'll be opening up to the wider public in the coming weeks. Beginning of May, look out. Hopefully I can let everybody know before then. And yeah, so there'll be videos and yeah, instructional videos, which might be a little bit lectury, but you know what, there's a lot you have to think about before you approach these things if you don't want to just make a big mess. And if you want to make a big mess, which is a great idea, you don't really need my help. So the idea is I'll have weekly videos bringing the next part of the course, just a short video, nothing too demanding, with a worksheet and things to practice. And yeah, you can learn some new skills. So drawing's the beginning one, and oh, hi Brenda, hi Glenn, good to see everybody. Yeah, so these are the things coming beginning of May. The courses that were rather cloistered and private are going to be opening up a little bit. So anybody will be able to do them, and they will be online. So some Zoom lessons, but there'll be different levels, and it's all going to be based on subscription. I'm going to try and keep it as cheap as I can, so that everyone has a chance to have a go. Okay, we're going to need an awful lot of red there, so I might put some Viridian out there. Let's have some Viridian. Splodge of Viridian. Hope the colour's showing up there. Yep, that's really good. White, more white. No, that's yellow ochre. I'm going to need that too. Okay. So yeah, so I've been super busy. Been hearing a lot about people going, how do you combat the boredom? I'm thinking, oh, I'd love to be bored for a little bit, but it's all positive, and I feel very lucky to be able to have something to get on with, and hopefully something to offer. So anyone has any suggestions or particular things they've always wondered about, they'd like me to elucidate, please do let me know. So yeah, so the drawing thing has been very interesting. I've been going back over a few books that were kind of instrumental in me devising an approach to teaching drawing and understanding what's happening when we're drawing, and also dealing with a lot of the problems people have with drawing. Not much is made of it, because I suppose people throw the word talent around, and that will do. Okay, we've explained that, we don't have to think about it anymore. But it seems bizarre to me that otherwise very intelligent, capable people are suddenly reduced to being incompetent children when they have a pencil in their hand and they're required to draw even the simplest thing. And people without shame will say, oh, I can only draw stick man, you know, which is odd, really. It's like someone proudly saying, oh, I can't even cook an egg. Yeah, you just haven't tried, have you? That's the answer you'd get to that. That person would be treated as useless. I mean, they do exist, and some of them aren't particularly ashamed. But yeah, because it's not an important life skill, and it was treated as a DOS subject when we were in school, there's this sort of acceptance of complete incompetence, and actually loads of people would get an awful lot out of drawing, out of experiencing the world through their artist's eye, and they don't have the confidence to embrace all the mistakes you have to make and just get on with it and have fun with it, which is bizarre, because they might well have the confidence to do far more difficult things. So it's a peculiar one. So a lot of the drawing approaches, talking about drawing, let's get that in. I want the corner of that window. I want the space above it. I feel like the flowers are looking out of the window. So this is going to be a little thing about isolation. So that and the corner of the window all goes into a square pretty much. I'm going to put that square lower down, so I've got a bit more space at the top. No, even lower down than that. Let's take it 45 degrees, that should take me to the top of the square. That's pretty much square. Okay, within that space, about halfway is the edge of the shadow. And okay, it's looking taller now, it's looking like a taller square. So yeah, only that small portion of it. Put some light down here. I'll put some of that shadow in. Yeah, if I include the windowsill, it's a sort of a taller shape. So that's the corner of the window. That's about halfway down. I have to bring that over a little bit. Start at the corner of the window, maybe. We've got a light quarter. Yeah, so that light is up there. That's about right. What was I saying? Drawing, yes. I'm not good at multitasking. So when I concentrated, I immediately stopped talking. Completely lost what I was trying to say. Because that's what it does. You're completely involved when you're drawing. It's just you and nothing else. So that would make it that wide. If that's the window and that's the edge of the shadow, that's the width of the jar. And if that's the width, I can figure out the height. So I can put in this framework at the beginning, and all of this involves ignoring what I think I know. I haven't done any obvious outlines. I haven't done any of the things which are obviously important, like the outline of the jar, the stem of the flower, you know, the lines, even the individual lines. That line there represents the bottom of the shadow. The back of the window sill is up here somewhere, but I don't know yet, so I'm not going to put it in. So that's gone a bit darker, so if I take that as a rectangle, it's sort of two squares really, just under. So that'll be roughly where the top is, which will make it this kind of shape. I'm eyeballing it now. This is the practice coming in, which should make this fairly accurate. He says. We'll see what happens. We've got the shadow that comes out of it. Stretches across there. That line goes across. Okay, yeah, I've made this much larger now. If I do put that stalk in, it's going to bring this. Yeah, so actually that's lower down. A bit smaller, a bit thinner. So there's a few outlines I've done there just to sort of find my way around, but I'm not paying too much attention to them. And that's the thing that's important. So that's the edge of the window. There. That's the edge of the shadow. So I can sort of take my eye off all these ideas of what's important and just do shapes. There's a dark shape there, which puts that shape there, which goes over the edge of the windowsill. That's the underneath of the flower, which will then be in this kind of shape. Okay. Yeah. So just by doing a few of those sort of simple shapes next to one another. Should have the basics of the drawing in for this. And that's pretty much in. There's a stringy bit there. So I can tighten all this up later on. It doesn't have to be super accurate now. Actually, it doesn't have to be super accurate at all. So the other question is, what do I want this to express? What do I want it to say? And as long as the feeling gets across, then the job's been done, really. But to not have to work too hard at this drawing stage, not to get completely absorbed by it or distracted by drawing, which I don't think is good enough for, and those sorts of things, takes a lot of practice, and it never stops. There's always another sort of another thing to overcome. Okay, so I'll put some of that shadow in there, and this in here, and this in here. I'll keep it scrubby. There's a bit more of that one there. There's quite a bit of shadow in those bits. I'm working off a slightly toned, slightly sized surface. Oh, yeah, that's pretty good. Is that right? Yes, yes it is. Yeah, so there's some basic shapes in there. That's that shadow there. All of this is going to be shadowed. And some heavier darks. Now all of that was done with thin inky paint. So there's hardly any paint gone on the surface. It's all thinners. There's no oils on there. Let's get some of that blue. Anywhere else I can see that? Oh yeah, I'm looking at this edge here. And I'll pull a few lights out now. There is a light bit there. I'm trying to see these in relation to actually, that's a point. In relation to what? In relation to these sort of bigger shapes I've been looking at. Just going to move the bottom of this down. Moves that shadow down, which probably feels about right. Oh well, close enough. Oh, my blue tack's giving up the ghost. Okay, give it a few minutes for the spirit to evaporate. How's that look on the page? Yeah, hopefully you can see the relationship between what I'm seeing over here and the very vague blobs that are appearing on the canvas. While that is evaporating, I'll show you a few things. This was a little demo I did in the week. Hope that comes across. You see that? Do it a bit lower, didn't it? Move the oil and move it down. There we are. Some tomatoes and some olive oil and some flowers hanging in the background. And that was a little exercise in simplicity. So that's the sort of thing we can do with the oils class, and that really couldn't be more than an hour's demoing, maybe a bit longer. It's hard to tell. I completely lose track of time when I'm painting, but during lessons I have to be a bit fussier, to be a bit more careful. Also got, these are all going to appear on Facebook shortly, and probably Instagram as well. Last week's, oh yeah, the binoculars and the little elephants. That was rather fun. But yeah, I quite like that. I called it hindsight. It just felt right, and that's, I mean, a good example for me. It's a fairly, you know, like all my still lines actually, they're quite muted and they're quite dull. They're not flashy in your face things. I could try doing that, but it wouldn't be honest, and I think that's all we can do when we're trying to make any kind of art or whatever, is just be honest. But yeah, the binoculars I rather liked. There's a lot of symbolism with that kind of thing, and I liked having them facing towards me with the elephants behind them, because the elephants are tiny little model elephants, which would be big things, but you look the wrong way through the binoculars and they become tiny and far away. And I think sometimes we look at the world like that. Yes, so these are the first few isolation pictures. So yeah, this one means an awful lot more than some olive oil, I think, but it's probably less likely to sell. Speaking of selling, I also need to sell more paintings, so pretty much anything I do during this lockdown, you can make me a silly offer and I won't be insulted. So if there's anything you like, don't be afraid to ask, and I'll be selling. Oh yes, there's an Instagram thing, the Artist Support Pledge, where the idea is you've got stuff to sell for £200 or less, then yeah, if you sell 5 things and you commit to buying a piece of another artist who's also joining in with the pledge, kind of thing. It's a way of artists supporting one another, or at least being penniless together. So either way, there's some kind of what would you call it, solidarity there. Alright, how's this getting on? Yeah, okay, that's quite well sized. I used very diluted sealing primer, non-absorbent primer. So because I diluted it so much, I didn't know how well it would work, but it turns out pretty well. So yeah, just while that's drying off, I'm going to mix some paint. I've got to get my tones right on this, because it's pretty much two-tone, but there's other things. There's this little flashy highlight on the jar over there. That's going to be the brightest part of the image. So I've got to ask myself, how much darker is this? And what's the darkest part of the image? Well, it'll be in here. Those dark greens are much darker than any of the shadows. There's lots of colours in those shadows, and have some fun with those. So I'm just going to try and do a shadow colour and a light colour, and I'm going to look at those two things. If I look at that as the darkest green, I'm going to go. I'm going to start with some yellow ochre. I'm going to put some more umber in it to darken it down. I'm going to add blue to it, which will make it go green. And then I'm going to actually need to add some red to it, which will neutralise the green, balance it out. Yeah, keep it on the yellow ochre side of things. Put some red, I don't want it to go too orange. Okay, now as a tonal jump, does that look about right? I don't think it's quite enough. I'll keep a little bit of it to one side and just mix in this. Oh no, I'll just mix in all of it. Okay, that's quite green again. The tonal jump is closer, and it still needs to be redder. I'm only using the lightness of the yellow ochre. I haven't added any white to this yet, so that's very green, isn't it? It's going to have to be a lot more orange than that. So I'm using alizarin crimson as my mixing red. I've got some naphtol red over there. Actually, that might do the trick. Let's try a bit of naphtol red. It's a nice bright red. It doesn't have a very strong tinting strength, which I like about it, really. Okay, I've no idea if that's the right colour. I won't know until I put it on. I'm going to leave that there. Sometimes you mix a colour, especially the first one actually, and yeah, the whole thing's a dead loss. I'm going to start with some white this time. Put it here. I'm going to start with some of that naphtol red. I quite like that today. Feels good. So that's my pink. I'm going to add yellow ochre to it until it's yellow enough. Okay, this is quite a strong yellow ochre, this one. It's quite a lot of tinting strength. Orange it up a bit more. I'll borrow a little bit of that just to mute it down slightly. So that's my yellow one. Long way to go till it gets to that sparkly white bit, so that's good. Okay. Yellow one. Yeah, all of that over there. Browny red one. More of that naphtol red. So it's quite a yellowy red already, so maybe a bit of alizarin might help. Ooh, is that too much? Probably. Oh no, that's done the job nicely. There's my lights. Pink version, yellow version. What about those darks? There is a crisper, bluer version. And use the white that's on the knife. Add a whole chunk of blue to it. Bit more white. Okay, I'm going to make it a bit bluer. sometimes quite like to exaggerate the colours. I went into proper mumble mode there, didn't I? Okay, so hopefully you can see those colours turning up, and you can see some relation between these and what's in front of me. Oh, left on the knife there. Similarly, I'm going to take some of that yellow one and make a really red one. And again, lighten it ever so slightly. What will that do for the dark? No, that's pretty good. I'm going to need some more black. What sort of black is it? It's a bluey black. I'll make some now. That's a browny black. That's a bluey black. Lovely. And the flowers and the jar and all that kind of stuff, they can all come in later on. I'm just going to see what I can do with just these few colours at the beginning. And knife are clean. Let's see what this is doing. Okay, that's sticking pretty well now. I don't want too much thinners on the surface, it will mix in with the paint, so I'll try and make sure that's all dry. But the drawing's there. Okay, big shapes. I pretty much destroyed the drawing then, didn't I? That was stupid. Oh well. Big brush and see how much I can get it to work for me. I'm going to put the lights in at the beginning. So I've set some tonal values here. Don't be too pink. I think that's pretty good. Big shapes. Don't get caught up in detail. These blocks of big shapes together. It's quite exciting, this bit. Let's get stuck in there. Oh yeah, it's definitely pinker further in. I'll come back to the yellow afterwards. That's bluer and greener down. Oh, there's a pinker down there. It is pinker down there. Okay, and I've got that funny angle. Okay. Yeah, that's making sense to me now. I overdid it though. I've gone too far. What is that shape? It's that shape. Get the excess off. There we go. Okay, so I'm not putting this paint on too thickly. Okay, 45 minutes in already. How did that happen? Well, those of you who've been here before will know that this all happens in the last 10 minutes pretty much. But I don't tell anyone that, because then they just tune in for the last 10 minutes. I'm going to put a bit of oil in this, make it flow a bit more. Let's get some of those bigger shapes in there. Oh, none of them is right. Pretty much. We've got all these vertical lines in the light coming from the window, pretty much. So I'll do that with the brushwork. And the reason I'm only putting the paint on quite thinly here is because I am going to want to work into it. That's the reason I've only put oil on a little bit as well. Okay, some of those shapes in there. About that. Okay, not going to overly fuss with that. The other places I'm going to want to see those lights are sort of in here. Maybe that's a bit higher up. Oh dear, that's dreadful. Those lights are going to be bluer. Okay, I'm not too sure about that now, so I'm just going to leave it a bit. Oh, here. A lovely bit of light there, but I haven't done the shadows yet, so I'm not, that's just a placeholder. So I'm looking at that one. Okay, that's just a little idea of where that goes. Let's pop in a few bits of light. Okay, that gives me an idea of what goes where. So already actually there's some kind of semblance of the thing I'm trying to paint. It doesn't take very much information to prompt us to see a thing. It's just, the problem is that information is different to what our brain selects for us. So learning to see the things that are useful to depict an image, rather than getting hung up on the things that aren't, is an ongoing difficulty, let's say. These shadow colours are looking all a bit wrong now. I'm going to try a bit of this one and see what it does. This is the warmer, readier one. I might have to revisit all of this. I don't know. No, it needs to be bluer. I'll try some of this bluey one and see what that does. That's a bit better. It's sort of a mixture of a few of them. Oh, this is sort of complicated now. Ah, but there's a lot of that in there. If I start with the bottom, that's pinker, that's bluer. Bluer. This bit here is bluer. I got that bottle right. I'm going to do a bit of measuring now just to make sure. I'm not sure if I have. I think it's sort of wider and stockier. That's there, and that's there. This needs to come out a bit more. I'll just mess it up for the moment so I don't have an edge, and then I'll find out where the edge goes later. There you are. It's a good way to solve that problem, isn't it? Okay. Yeah, it's a bit more bluish under here. I keep seeing colours, and then when I look up again I see a new one, and that's especially with shadows, it happens quite a lot. So there's a bit there. This looks greener now. Okay, I'm not going to get too fiddly with the marks I'm making. Where else is there? Something in there. In here. Oh, there's a whole load of lights that I missed. But that's okay. I can pop them in afterwards. There's a continuation of that line there. Let's go back to that reddy browny one. See if I can put that in anywhere. Yeah, definitely in here. And I can work in some of those darks later. I've got that black there, so I can make darker versions of these colours. Now, where was I? Reddy colour. There's some. Lovely. That'll do that. That's a bit under there. Okay, so I'm just finding little patches. I'm not doing any fine details or anything like that. Just chucking them in. Again there, so there's a darker bit down here. So yeah, just putting in a surface that I can work into afterwards. So I'll work some darks in after that, and then sort of just strengthen the colours up as I get the chance to. I just went over where some leaves are going to go. That's alright, you can always, it's the other good thing about oil paints, I can always take some away afterwards. Is that right? Yes, it is. Kind of. Okay. Oh, I'm being really patchy now. Really unsure. But I've still got those colours. I'm going to make a slightly darker version of this blue. I didn't really want to get rid of all the existing blue I had, but there you are. The blue I mixed was a dark. Sorry, the black I mixed was a bluey black. Okay, that gets redder down here. It's all quite confusing. These bits in here are all yeah. Simple strokes. Put them on, leave them. It's easier said than done. Okay, this has all been with the same brush so far. That shadow is really dark across the top there. That will really make a difference later on. I don't want to fuss too much. The temptation to fiddle and fuss is enormous, always. So once it does the job, so that drawing isn't perfect, doesn't matter. No one's going to be calculating what the shadows of the flowers should look like. Oh, I'm going to need that. I use a slightly smaller brush. Oh, that'll do it. Just to go back to that light. And I'll use a bit of that yellow in it now. Just put in some of these negative shapes. There's a few strong edges there. It's a bit pinker in there. Okay, so let's see, there's a bit of yellow in there. Yeah, a lot more yellow in here. Okay, that seems to be doing its job now. Great. Move back to this shape here. Good. Yeah, there's a few cleaner shapes in here. It's clumsy. That's better. Okay. I'm going to take some of that pink, some of this greeny colour, and mix a new colour, which is going to go in here. Yes. And that's basically reflecting that wall behind. And if I go back into that greeny colour, in here, it should work. Bluer. Okay, yeah, bit of precision. That's enough. That's far too much effort. You can't keep that up for very long. There's lumps in it. I didn't ask for lumps. Get out. Good. Okay, now this blue. Okay, it's quite dark there. That works for that. Yeah, so I'm feeling my way around these colours and tones. There's a bit of blue in there, and in there. Where else is there some? Definitely some in here. There's this sort of corner there, but the light travels across. Yeah, I think that's blue, and there's much more orange. Let's go back to this. Let's put the really pink bits in, really exaggerate them. Great, that's really pink. I'm happy with that. And then here, we're an hour in now, so yeah, this definitely needs a pink to go across. That's yellower, and that's pinker. Okay, I'm finding all sorts of interesting colours and bits and pieces in here now. So I keep going with these. Oh, that was my light one, wasn't it? Okay. There's a lighter version of that pink just in here, which really cuts out that shadow. Where else can I see it? I can see it along here, and here, and here. It's actually the top of that light edge there. And those lines from the glass definitely travel across. Anything else? Will it work for that? No. Oh, the flowers. There's a lot of pink in those. I think I might do the lights first and then put the shadows in. Let's see if that works. I keep painting flowers because I'm trying to learn to paint flowers. I'm terrible at it. And I think it's just because I don't really have a process yet. So the only way to do that is to keep doing it badly and try and learn something every time I muck it up. So that, hang on. That's that shape, that's that wiggle there. So actually that's that bottom flower. Yeah, that would be there. That comes down. It's really just getting the language of them, isn't it? Oh, I'll tell you where else it works. It works for that label. The angle at the top of that label goes, I think it goes here. That seem right? Yeah. So it's nowhere near enough paint there. Let's put a bit of oil in it, see if that helps. A little bit more white. I feel like I'm going quite bright now, but it's still an awful long way off the that bright light. Does that do it? Do a vertical line. Okay, so just really try and do this in one mark. Cheeky. Oh yeah, these are all sort of matching it quite nicely. That's also working with those highlights there. Okay. What about these bits I put in right near the beginning? Something like that. Get some of these streaks in. Okay, and proper bright highlight just on that. Okay, I'm starting to like this now. That's terrible, but nothing I can't fix. Oh, actually, I'll have a go at it now. I haven't used any of my Viridian yet either. So I've got this pale bluey colour, but it's not that pale. Let's chuck a lot more blue in there. Oh yes, that sort of works. I'm going to stick a bit of Viridian in there. Very strong colour. Let's see if it makes things green enough. That's kind of. That might be a bit too much. I think it works for that. Yeah, a bit creamier and a bit lighter. What direction is it going? Yeah, that will soften it. And this will brighten it. Yes, that's better. Simple shape. So close the inside of the label. Anywhere else I can see any of that. I've got the height of the bottle all wrong. That all needs to come up. Nothing I can't change there, which means that's there. I'm just going back to that reddish colour. Actually, put it there. Okay. So an image is starting to appear. After a fashion. Okay, next few things. I'll make a darker, redder colour. I'm going to put it there. Where else is it? It's also here. There's some. It goes around the top of that. I want to put it in here, but that's not. Oh, actually, no, that is. That should have sloped downwards, but I didn't do it like that because I'm an idiot and wasn't paying proper attention. Okay. Darker bits which are going to go in here. There you are. There we go. These highlights aren't finished, they're going to move up. What about that? That is a darker bit, isn't it? If I paid proper attention to that before, it would have told me. I should point out now I'm not affiliated to any gin company. If anyone's thinking of offering some kind of sponsorship, keep it. Any idiot can make gin. Perfectly good bath of my own, thanks. Okay, I'm distracting myself now. But I'm seeing some other reds in here, just for the sake of variety. I like the way the green and the red fight it out. Yeah, these little patches of extra light. That's where it kind of changes flavour. So yeah, it's redder in here. Oh, it's all a bit paler in that bit. And this is almost entirely pink. Now, got the angle right at the end. Second time lucky, eh? A few bits of that light coming through. I'm going to have a short break. I'm going to come back and I'm going to finish this. Before I do that, I'm going to need some more of that there. And it's going to be remarkable how little is required. I went down to 2. So yeah, just like if you were really in the studio here with me, occasionally I just wander off and then reappear again, because that's what I do. That's how I operate. Yeah, it's starting to happen. How's it look on the screen? Okay. Yeah, we're getting an idea on that. Good stuff. I'll be right back. again. It's just down to matte again. No one's got the patience to just put it on the background. Put it on and read a book or something. There we are. I'm guessing it's just matte left. Okay. How did I know? This is me and you now. Okay, taking a bit of this green, a whole chunk of this black, and then put some darks in. There's some in there. And work into the edges, same down here. Highlights are coming afterwards. Okay, also try not to do lines. These subtle edges, no lines. All red in there. Probably a bit of that black. And there's that shadow there. Comes right up to here. There's more of this. Okay, now we're back into the shadows here now. Don't need to keep going over and over those. Okay. Is this too pale? No, that's about right for the top of here. That's what I was actually going for. No, this will be higher up. darker. This is that. And this bit. And this, that red bit I was trying to put in earlier. Still haven't got round to the green, but that will come. So that's the, no, that's way too light. Somewhere in between. That's it, that's most of the highlight on that label there. Sort of travels across, it's light from behind, isn't it? It's a dark edge there, and a light edge up here. Should do some of those greens. Is it time? Is it time for the greens? Okay. Let's use darker bits for the flowers. That's darker. What is that? I'm not going to be too accurate with these flowers, I don't think. Mostly because of the time. But they're, yeah, it's all lighter than that. That's all the darks I need. Let's have some of this green. This really deep dark green first of all. I'm going to put some red in it. I'm going to make a slightly yellow green to go next to it. Pretty much orange. It should have been a warm green anyway. Tonally, it's about the same as the background, so that's too light. I'll keep a bit of the light, keep that on one side. Mix in the dark with it again. That's going to be way too crisp, but okay, a whole chunky yellow, okay. Okay, simple shapes to begin with. First of all, it's going to be too green. It's incredibly intense. I think maybe there's places where I want that. It's a toughie. It's a toughie. I'll do a halfway house just next to it. So how about that? Still too green. Darkest at the bottom there, so I'll put that in there and work it upwards. What about here? Again, that's way too much. Put more red in it. Okay. I think I've pretty much got my dark green now. Okay, subtle and small changes, but there. No. Again, still way too green. It's a yellow ochre version. Is it still too strong? No, it's more like it. It's been a bit too intense. Make a lighter one just to the side. A bit of white in it. Oh yeah, that's behaving itself a little bit better. Yeah, like I said, I'm kind of mixing on the surface now, so that works here. Here. A little bit. Dance of some greens over there. And back to my darks. Look at this. I'm going to use raw umber. Should have rather more yellowing effect yet. That's a bit better. Look, a whole load of red in that. I'll just put the shapes in first. Okay. Just little gestures here, just trying to get in the language of the flower. How it moves around. Okay, very dark bits, and these are going to be redder than they are green, I think. That's going to be in there. I don't know if it's going too far. Okay, let's go back to that lighter one now. Put some white in it. A little crisp highlight above there. No, it's still way too much. Much warmer. That's way too yellow. Bring it back the other way. What's this doing? Okay, we're back to that pink now. That point up there. Okay, should have got some of the pink involved for the light. How obvious. Anyway, don't want to overwork that. Did I have a shadow colour on one of these? I think it was in here. Lovely job. And I put some lights in first, didn't I, with the flowers, but now I can go back on that. Put red in this until it behaves itself. Yeah. Some of those dancing lights and things should hang around. In there. There's some. Okay, this is going to work. He says. This is the blue. There's some down there. bring a few lights into here. That's where those highlights are going to show up. Even then it's too early. But some of these background colours here and there. Back there, that's warmer. Oh, I got quite absorbed with this. So I know I meant to talk all the way through it, but hey, I suppose that's a let off for everybody there, wasn't it? Oh, back up to 2. Hi Jason. Well, this has actually been quite fun to paint. Yeah, I've rather enjoyed this. We've got that greeny colour, and then make a pale version of that. And pop that in here. Just going to let it do some of those highlights across there, which then go a lot yellower. One like this, that's where that goes. Edge of the label. Nice reflecting colour. Get some of that good yellow. Since that full red is coming really handy. There's that orangey yellow colour. I'll just darken it down ever so slightly. Let's see if that's dark enough. Pretty much. Get that shape. It's straight there. Can't get the right mark off. Redder. Too red. It's a balancing act. Flash of light over there. This does want to have some colour in it. It's very pale, very yellow. Too yellow. No, not quite right. I know why. Okay, now those lights are on. I'll do this one here. Travels across, and do this softer pinker one here. How does this go? That's a bit. I know what I haven't done as well is these highlights, these window highlights up here. And these are the things that will finish it off, I think. No, too much. Where else does that go? Let's pop a bit in there. Let's pop a bit in here. Put some of those streaks in here as well. Make sure it's all sort of in keeping. Where do I need them down here? Never did put in the bottle top. Don't think I need it really. That does the job. Brushes in the way. There's that highlight under there. And more shadow colours. Back to this. Those heavier shadows over here. And over here. Brushes in the way. Okay, so for starters, these pink ones really soften up when they get across. Almost completely blurs in. Okay. Any other darks while I'm here? Let's pop a bit of that green shape across here just to tidy that up. I've already got that red. I've already got some of these. Oh, that's what I'll do. I can't keep fiddling with it forever. Well, actually, I could keep fiddling with it forever, but I refuse to do that. What should we do? Let's have some blue shadows around here. Look at these sort of shapes on the bottle. Reflection. Another one down there. Got a bit of writing as well. nice little touches. Now, still got some of those highlight colours. Oh, there you go. And some. Okay, yeah, it's definitely getting fiddly now. Okay, bright highlights. That's definitely pinky. Really bright, really pinky. Oh, I haven't done the flowers yet, have I? Oh well, it's going to be a long one tonight. Although, I have a feeling maybe the flowers aren't going to take as long as I thought. Okay, there they are. That's some bright highlights. What else does it need? Maybe some of those deep purpley reds. Give away some of the shapes of the petals. And a few little stamens as well, perhaps. What's going on there? I'm not going to worry about it too much. Dark red blobs. Blob, blob. Blob, blob. Ah, there you go, gives the general impression. I'm definitely fiddling now. I will stop in a minute. That's a yellowy highlight. I really want to do that again. But I mustn't. Okay. Softer highlights along again. I've got the sense of that bottle though. Those creamy highlights. I've done this one about 5 times now. Should manage to get it right by now, but no, apparently not. Oh yes. A few bright little sparkles just at the bottom. Will that do? I think that's going to have to do. Seems that's a 2-hour one tonight. There you are. Let's straighten this up and have a little look at what we've got. Oh, you know what? I never did the dark at the outside. So there's always something else, isn't there? I'm going to make that quite blue, I think. Hopefully gives some context to the woodwork of the window. Temptation to fiddle, resist. You want to fiddle with it. That bit, that finishes it off. Hooray! Well, thank you for joining me, everybody. Let's have a little nose at this. Let that come out. Oh, come on. Okay, cables decided it's caught on everything. Oh dear. Right. I can't move it because the microphone's leaning on the thing that it's tangled up with. There we go. That was a bit crazy, wasn't it? There it is. There's my subject matter. We can have a little wander in there. There's a little gin bottle. There's a shadow on the far side. Finish with a thumbnail shot. How's that? Super. Well, cheers. Thanks for coming, and I hope you were as entertained by that as I was. I mean, that's almost certainly not the case, I accept, but still. So yeah, watch out for classes and stuff coming up, things you can join in with. There should be some things on the website. I have to keep updating it and still working that out, but especially from the beginning of May, there'll be videos and not like this kind of video. I mean actual edited, scripted videos, not just some bumbling idiot hacking their way through a painting, wandering off and forgetting to clean their palette and that kind of thing. So it won't have the fun authenticity of joining me in the studio, but there would be some hopefully some useful educational tips. What else? Oh yeah, and all these paintings. If someone likes one, make me an offer. I mean, I'd want to see 200 quid for that, which I think is very reasonable. But you might have a different idea. I'd be interested to hear it. The worst thing I can do is say no, and anything over 0 is flattery. So, yeah. That's all right. That's not all bad. Yeah. So thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.